What? I can't hear you.
Never mind.
So... Whoops, OBS crashed.
Wow.
It did do like a huge update before I started this shit. It like took like 10 minutes to update.
A virus update?
There's movement on your mic now, on that little bar.
Yeah, no, that's been moving, but
It's an STD.
hey, I think we're live. Maybe can someone validate?
Stogie transmitted disease.
We're getting a thumbs up from Howie.
Yeah, you can hear us now.
Is he blind or deaf?
Maybe wouldn't matter. Shit, I don't know, dude. What are we thinking? What
Tell
are
him to
we
turn on the
thinking?
subtitles.
There you go.
Becca can hear us.
Hey, we're live then.
So we are live.
All right.
Well, it wouldn't be the podcast if it wasn't all dicked up from me.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We're only 30 minutes late. We've been worse.
That's okay. Hey, welcome. Glad you can hear us now. This is a podcast where we talk about cigars and alcohol.
You're going to play the intro?
Should I play the intro?
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well.
It's going to crash the mics.
It's going to crash the whole thing. All right.
We still can't hear it.
No, we can't hear it now.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Stogies and Spirits podcast, coming to you live from the Diplomat Cigar Lounge in beautiful downtown Keene, New Hampshire.
I hear you guys.
Is everybody ready? It's time to just cut, light, and suck.
Beautiful voice.
Oh, dulcet tones.
All right, we'll do the disclaimer.
We are all
Curious if
over the
anyone
age
can
of
hear these
21
things. I
and do
assume
not
they can,
condone
but
underage smoking or drinking.
who knows?
Please drink and smoke responsibly.
Oh, it's magic.
Only the shadow knows. All right. Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Stogies and Spirits.
That was just the intro you heard. Maybe. We don't know. Experiencing crazy tech difficulties, so I apologize.
And we're a live
but-
show, so
Yeah, a live
There's
show.
no-
It kind of sucks. You can't really, no way around it.
no recording and
I mean, unless you're listening on Spotify, then we're going to cut all this out. So, yeah, to my left, two lefts.
yeah, you can see me
Way,
now.
let's see, that way? Yeah.
You're pointing at
I
me?
guess I could just look at where my
could.
finger is, but I was looking at the screen and yeah.
The CEO.
Josh, CEO,
CFO.
CEO.
Yes, hi.
That's him.
Hi.
To my right, Mr. Gill. Sergeant
Gill.
Gill.
Howdy.
Howdy. And you have Warren, the producer.
And oh, me, yeah, let's not worry about who I am. We don't need to use names. No one needs to know who's doing this. And our special guest, Mr. Mike Giacomo.
Hello, hello. Good evening.
Giacomo or Jack?
Or is it Giacomo? I say Jack
man.
because
It's Giacomo.
I've heard everyone you could possibly imagine. Had a great conversation this morning about him. Giacomo, Guacamo.
Guacamo.
guacamole.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's
I
good.
like it.
I like
Guacamo.
guacamo.
Oh, that's your nickname, guacamole.
Guacamo.
Oh no, middle school's brutal, man.
I bet.
Some jerkaho and oh yeah, Checkafamo. Oh man, everyone you can imagine.
I was going to say, you're going to have a rough time if you ever went to basic training.
Oh,
The sergeants would eat you alive on that one.
both my brothers are military, and I didn't.
There you go.
Well, yeah, tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the Tabernacle cigar. We actually did Charter Oak last week from Foundation Cigars, and this week I had an event yesterday, and it was a Tabernacle, which is also from Foundation. And then the bourbon we're going to talk about is Penelope's bourbon. Someone tried to get me to say something other than Penelope's bourbon, but I did not.
Wasn't me.
Brewing it for everyone else. What was it again?
That was Penelope. A good old bottle of Penelope.
The old bottle of Penelope, barrel strength. No, but we are drinking the
Now you're not going to be able to say it.
Penelope Bourbon barrel strength, which is the red label if you're going. It's part of their 4-grain series. It's the red label if you're going to the liquor store. MRSP on that is right around, I think, $72 or $74.
MSRP. I know.
Dyslexia.
Yeah.
Damn it. So dyslexic.
It's always something.
So yeah, then we'll do that. Giacomo is actually a whiskey connoisseur-ish.
We'll take a step back from that, but yeah.
Yeah, but he does whiskey tastings and stuff like that. So he's going to go through how we should be tasting it. I know we did that last week, but he's going to give us our take on how to taste whiskey, and then we'll do a mystery alcohol like usual. Maybe talk about what Mike does at work and life.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's-
We have no scripts this time around either, so...
I have a script.
Okay.
It's an old script.
script from last
It's
week,
the wrong script, but...
And then we'll give away some
okay.
cigars, and we actually are giving away $100
$100!
in singles.
in singles. Yeah, so the first college kid,
Ooh.
the first college kid,
That eliminates 90% of the crowd.
yes, to bring me a selfie with Miles in it, who's a bartender at the Nooch, wins $100.
So you have to be in the selfie with Miles.
Yep, you have to take a selfie. Miles in the background,
What's Miles doing?
bartending at the Nooch.
No, but I mean,
You
like in the
cannot be
picture.
here. You cannot be here at this moment.
Oh, you can't be in the bar?
Correct.
Okay.
So she cannot win. They cannot win.
I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So, then
All right.
like and subscribe our page when you come in.
So anyone that turned on half an hour after the show was supposed to start
Yeah, sorry
and
about
are
that,
still
everyone.
here, you could win $100 US.
$100 US.
What if somebody comes in here and then hears about it and then leaves? Is that
Did someone just
legit?
come in and hear about it and leave?
No,
Then we have
but,
nothing to worry about.
Not yet.
but what if they hear about it from one of these
That's fine.
people at the bar?
That's fine. Whatever.
Okay, I think that's good.
What if they bring Miles here?
Ooh,
Miles cannot
then Miles will
leave.
get fired.
Miles would get fired.
But someone will get $100. So
someone would get
But would
$100
Miles get $100 if he took a selfie and
of
then
himself
came here
and
gave it to
he
you?
would have to get someone to bartend for him.
I think he could do it though.
I bet you could do
Yeah,
it.
I think that's legit.
I won't fire him for that. If
Yeah.
he finds like one of my other employees to bartend for him, he comes over.
I was just
Gotta
thinking,
reward clever.
Yeah.
you know what you should do at the Nooch, because it's early, right? It's not like people are doing a lot over there, and it's a Wednesday. You should have the podcast being streamed through the
could do that.
speakers of the Nooch.
I might be able to figure that out.
That'd be because you can play it off your phone, like you can play songs and stuff.
Yeah, we
so
can run Bluetooth
You
on
could just
our system.
go into the Facebook and
Yeah.
play the live.
I don't know if I'm smart enough to do that. I can't even get this thing up and running. So
Let's
Neither
not
can
try
I.
tonight.
So anyway, let's start with what you're smoking on.
yeah, the Tabernacle. All right, man, is my camera on?
Wait, say
Is my
that again?
is my camera on?
Oh no, it's not.
I was
Let
gonna
me-
just, like,
let me
show
get over
them.
there. There you go. Now it is.
Yeah. So we've been smoking this for a little bit. Some of us are almost done with theirs.
Guilty
yeah.
as charged.
This is the Tabernacle, the regular broadleaf. It's from Foundation Cigars. This is a Robusto size. MRSP.
MS manufacturers suggested
retail prices.
retail
We have it for sale
Price.
for $13.
$13.
Yeah, I
so
have
it's
this and the Tabernacle Havana Seed.
so it's on the higher end.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's a great cigar.
Yeah.
Easy to smoke.
A lot more pepper than last week, though. That's for
Really,
sure.
you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, last week was super smooth, super easy.
Yep.
We did the Charter Oak. It's
Nice.
a really good beginner smoke. Yeah, the Connecticut.
I'm very much a beginner smoker. Been smoking for a lot of years, but it's like 2 cigars a year, and I've had no problem with this.
Yeah, it's a very good cigar.
It is really nice. I'm down into the harsh zone almost.
The Harsh Zone.
Yeah, where you start burning your fingers.
So it's a Connecticut broadleaf, and then we have San Andreas Mexican, and then a Steli Jalapa Jamastran
I don't know what
tobaccos.
words these are.
No, those are just where like the filler tobaccos.
Where they're from?
Yeah, filler.
Oh, okay.
The styles, yeah, filler tobaccos.
Oh, they're styles.
Yep.
I don't know.
Nicaragua-
What do those words mean?
Nicaragua Esteli is like a region.
Oh, Estelis
Jalapa
is a region.
yeah.
Oh, in Nicaragua.
Do you think it's actually jalapa, or would you think it would be pronounced more like the
With a
H?
ha.
Like a
Jalapa.
jalapa.
I'll have to
Jalapa.
find someone from there. Probably you're right.
You're saying the rapper is
just a
this
dumb
place
redneck.
called Connecticut then?
Yes.
Ah,
2
interesting.
states below us, I believe.
Oh,
Yes.
I hear it's more tropical there. So.
Connecticut. I believe that's Native American, right?
Connecticut. Yes. Actually, they're having a hard time growing the Connecticut broadleaf this year. Let me just get to it. I had someone tell me this. There's been a shortage on broadleaf lately in Connecticut because it's been a record rainy seasons, and the broadleaf plant needs deep roots to thrive. When it rains every day, the roots don't. When it rains every day, the roots don't have time to go deep. So they're having a really hard time growing that tobacco right now.
When I don't have enough whiskey, I find it hard to go deep too.
Turning us down a little bit.
I raised the gate because it was loud,
Yeah.
and then you guys aren't talking loud enough, so
I'm
now I
sorry.
lowered the gate.
Yeah.
So that now hopefully it'll pick you up better.
Yeah. So the
It's like a full-time job here.
It is a
trying to
full-time
fucking
job. So the
produce
Tabernacle
this.
broadleaf was the first broadleaf Nick
See, now
did
we're picking up all this shit.
out of his own. He's known in the industry as the king of broadleaf, so it was greatly anticipated and greatly lived up to. The 142 wrapper was a seed that was brought from Cuba to the river valley in the 1870s and originally used because it was thought it was oily nature would be natural pesticide. Unfortunately, this makes it much more difficult and more time consuming to process. It was kept alive by local farmers in their own personal gardens and much in the way of heirloom tomatoes. Nick came across it and instantly fell in love, being a lifelong Connecticut resident.
So recap that. Basically, it sounds like what pesticides killed it all.
No, they thought the oily nature of the leaf was going to be a natural pesticide. Oh. And I guess it is, but it's a lot harder for them to work with
Gotcha.
and age it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
So that's the wrapper on this.
Yeah. And now, so it's tobacco. Wait, what's the wrapper made out of? I never even thought about that.
Everything's tobacco. The wrapper is like a tobacco
Wrapper's
leaf.
a tobacco leaf.
Yeah, it's just like
Okay.
the nicest leaf you can find.
Gotcha.
It's not. It doesn't usually have a lot of like. It's not very veiny and stuff like that, where it's going to fall apart.
And so then so I'm like fucking stupid right here.
Yeah.
But what part of the plant is tobacco?
The leaf. It's just
It is the
stalk
leaf.
with a leaf. Yeah.
So do they just grind it up?
No.
No.
They just cut it at the stalk and they have it like big leaves just stacked on
For
top
wrappers.
Of it. Yeah, it's just stacked
No,
on
but I
top
mean
of each other.
inside the fucking thing.
Nope, it's just like the
Tobacco.
less-
Like if I were to go get a cigarette right now, there's tobacco inside.
that's all
If I open
ground
it
up.
it's
That's all ground up.
Yeah.
This is all long filler, so it's just the less nice part of the leaf, and they just roll it up.
Oh.
They put it on the middle and roll it up inside of it.
So if I were to we should do that sometime. Cut open a cigar to see what it looks like inside.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious.
I think
can
they
do
sell things called cigar cutters that might do that for you.
I need to turn the gate back up, so we're just gonna have to be louder when we
That's
talk,
fine.
if you don't
I can
mind.
do that.
You guys can keep talking though.
Yeah, I know. What do you think, Josh?
Moving
What
the
do you-
microphone into my mouth a little more. We're good.
It's just I think it's a harsher smoke than last week. Like I said, there's more notes of pepper to it. Still a good smoke.
Yep.
I think it's like he said, he smokes 2 cigars a year, not having a problem over there. I think most people that would be starting out could do all right with this.
When I first lit it up and took some puffs, I actually got like a peanut butter flavor.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I haven't eaten anything peanut butter today at all.
I was
either.
gonna say maybe it's something lingering.
No, not at all.
No.
I just got like a natural peanut butter flavor, not like the Jiffy or anything like that.
Oh, like the organic.
Yeah, like an
the
organic.
the expensive stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you go into the co-op and
Yeah,
getting the
that's the flavor I got out of this cigar when I first lit it
Interesting.
up.
I will say it's making me want to drink more. So
Yeah, you go right ahead.
I guess that's a good
Yeah,
cigar
right?
to have then.
I'll sell this cigar to everyone that
Yeah,
walks
right.
in.
So you're saying it's heavy though? Like you wouldn't smoke a lot of these. One and done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, personally, I'm sure there's probably some people out there with that kind of palate that would smoke this like one or two.
They are definitely not listening to this podcast.
Probably not.
As a beginner, as someone coming
As a
in,
beginner,
like,
yeah.
you could smoke one of these and be comfortable.
Okay.
Maybe start with the Charter Oak and then like go to this. Something like if you wanted to smoke 2 in a night.
So you think the Charter Oak is the one we had last week?
Correct. Start with like the
That
Charter
thing
Oak,
was
Connecticut,
easy.
and then come to this.
Okay.
So then you get like a little bit more bold.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually really enjoyed the Charter Oak last week. I actually came in this week and had one of those.
Oh,
So,
did you really?
Yep.
Nice.
So you think it's better when smoking, you think it's better to work your way up versus then working your way down?
Yeah, because if you start with like a really bold cigar that's
Yeah.
very flavorful, it's gonna like ruin your palate.
Oh, so then
like
when
you
you
start with
try the
when you go to
Charter Oak,
something-
it's going to be shit.
Nothing. Like you'll get
Yeah.
nothing out of it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. I like it.
What are your thoughts, Mike? I know you said you liked it. You only smoked 2 a year.
Yeah. It's for me again. Anything that I can smoke and it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
Like if I don't smoke it and my head immediately just starts spinning, then it's something that I'm comfortable enough with.
Yeah, I hate when I smoke a cigar and my head starts spinning.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff with like some of the Maduro, the Maduros and things like that are a little bit darker. And
Yeah.
I saw this and I said, all right.
Sometimes it has to do with the filler more than the wrapper. Because you can have a wrapper that it's not really high nicotine, but all the fillers are.
Gotcha.
Like we did that last week with Josh Greenwald. I gave him one that was really bold and very heavy. And
Yeah.
he handled it pretty well, but he does smoke other things.
yeah.
Cigarettes.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Internet
I don't know that
lasts
I've ever
forever.
had a head rush from a cigar, though.
No? It's not enjoyable.
Interesting.
Like you get wicked nauseous.
I think you get nauseous.
Like,
yeah,
very
that's,
nauseous.
That's what I've had happen.
I think it's one of those things though, like if you don't do it very often, and then suddenly you go and like, oh, I'll have a cigar tonight, and
Yeah.
you're puffing on, and someone gave you something real heavy, and you just sit there and go, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like what I find is like Josh was saying, it kills your palate instantly, and I think some people are just different sensitivities, and sometimes you can have a light cigar, not really feel much. You can have a drink after. You can actually taste the drink, and that's the other thing that when we get into the bourbon side of this is doing cigar then bourbon can be a little dangerous for your bourbon tasting too. Usually, I go the other
interesting.
direction unless
I
I'm
didn't think
drinking
about
a Scotch or something that has a natural smokiness that lends itself automatically to cigars.
like a
Gotcha.
PD.
Yeah, like I see you've got the Dalmore cigar malt
Yes.
available here, which is, literally custom made to pair with cigars. And I think it was the first drink I had when I came in here when you guys opened was I had a cigar and Dalmore cigar malt. And,
Nice.
oh, they go wonderfully together. Or a real heavy peated Scotch. One of the I-list scotches,
yeah.
something like that. A Bowmore, a Lafroig.
Yeah, those are super
Lagavulin. Yeah, you're looking a muffler
smoky.
and smoking a cigar. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's awful.
Not for everyone.
Josh,
Yeah.
what would you rate this cigar at?
I'm going to go with 7.6.
All right, Michael? Mike?
Michael. Look at
Michael.
that. It's
Ooh.
official.
Yeah, I apologize.
My parents?
Michael!
Honestly, of the two I've had this year, it's probably one of the two.
Two I've had this
Yeah.
year.
Well, first of all, it's only
both
like
here.
30 days into
It's
the
also
year.
30 days into the year. This is my first one of the year, so I'd say it's a 10 out of 10. Best cigar I've had this year.
But out of all the cigars in your entire lifetime that you've ever
Yeah.
smoked or will smoke,
No, I'd say right now, right around is probably 6 to 7 is about where I'm at with it.
I think that's fair.
It's relatively easy to smoke, but it's got a lot to it. It's got some heft
Yeah.
to it.
bold.
It's very flavorful.
Okay, Joshua.
Thank you.
You like that
Actually, I
officialness?
am with Gil over there.
Okay.
7.6.
Ooh.
That's right where I was at. When he said that, I was like, damn it. Now I feel like I'm copying him.
Yep.
But
Playing
I was going
D.
to say, I was trying to read the face you gave me when I said that. You were like, damn you.
yeah, that's my number. Yeah, 7.6.
That 0.1 extra over the 7.5 is really what makes the difference. I hear that.
Yeah,
does,
it's
yeah.
huge.
Makes it sound more official. You know?
Absolutely.
We're very official.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they're here. I have 2 two different tabernacles. Like I said, the Havana seed and the regular broadleaf.
So
both
what's the
in
difference?
Robusto side, just different seeds, different wrappers.
But they're both probably just as bold, just as
Yes, correct. Yeah,
full.
one's just a little bit more flavorful than the other. The Havana seed's a little bit darker.
Okay.
Yeah, a Maduro.
I know we haven't started drinking tonight's whiskey, the Penelope.
Some of us haven't.
Some of us got started early, but yeah.
Yeah.
But before we start doing that, do you ever find that when you smoke a cigar that your whiskey or your bourbon or whatever you're drinking gets sweeter because of the harshness of the cigar?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if I'm drinking especially something like a rye, the rye is a natural pepperiness, of course, and that's the number one flavor when you drink a rye. You're like, ooh, yeah. And actually, I had a glass of rye right before, but right before I started doing this, and it actually, I think it sweetens it up a little bit because the pepperiness kind of counteracts the pepperiness in the cigar, and then you're left with the sugar content and the other stuff in there, and it's the flavor that starts popping.
Right. So I almost wonder if we did our tasting and then came back and smoked the cigar after that, would it change your rating from a 7.6 to something else?
I don't know.
Because you're changing both the flavor palette of the bourbon and the cigar.
Well, I wonder if while I'm smoking it and drinking, if it's going to change the taste of the cigar.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe I'll do another rating later.
I'd just be interested to
Yeah.
see if it changes it, because I think about it sometimes where if I've got something that's a little hard, like this, where it's real peppery,
Yeah.
if I drink something afterward, or if I drink bourbon or whatever,
Oh, shit.
it changes the taste.
We'll see. Now that we've talked about bourbon, why don't we just get into the Penelopes? Penelope.
Penelope.
I've never had
bourbon.
to actually sit and think about the name Penelope now, and now every time I say it, I'm like, Penelope.
I gotta do some stuff for Isaac for a second. So you guys,
Oh,
It's a lot
okay.
more fun to
Move on
say it that
ahead,
way.
So
Yeah,
let's go into the bourbon
Well,
tasting.
so
then.
I don't have a one to taste here, apparently. Josh
my bad.
didn't get me one.
You got moved to an old fashioned.
I have the old fashioned, but the old fashions all taste the same. I mean, there really isn't that much of a difference between, like, it definitely kills any sort of unique taste to
Want
the
me to go get you a
bourbon.
little barrel strength?
Yeah, if I could get just a little bit of even just a tiny pour, just so I can taste it.
little snifter.
Yeah, because it's got to be. That's what we normally do. Normally, this is but I can talk about this old fashioned here. It's delicious. It tastes like an old fashioned. If you've ever had one, oh, look at this on the fly. You don't even need the bartender. This is perfect.
Showing
Look at
the
that.
entire podcast the CEO's ass.
There you go. Hey, this looks just like last week, except oh wait. All right, so we're gonna try this thing.
Yeah, you guys give it a shot.
Give it a shot here, Josh. You do what you need to do.
Yeah, I'll start talking a little bit
And,
about this.
oh, okay.
You guys can taste it. Barrel strength pushes the boundaries of our signature 4-grain balanced flavor profile. Each batch is blended from 3 bourbon mash bills aged in new American oak barrels.
Wait
And
a second. Don't try it yet. Isn't Mike supposed to tell us how we're supposed to try it?
I mean, I can
No,
give
we
you.
can taste it, and then we can go through after how we should have tasted.
Okay. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue your.
American oak barrels and completely uncut and non-chill filtered, which maybe Mike can tell us what that means because I don't know exactly what that means. So, what does non-chill filtered mean?
It can mean different things. Generally, I mean, there's a lot of ways that different bourbons and other whiskeys can basically try to clarify their product a little bit. Some places do, like for instance, Jack Daniel's has a special process. They charcoal mellowing. It's maple. They use maple wood that they burn and then they filter it through that, and they consider it's a mellowing process. Chill filtering, you basically cool it really far down. And then filter it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. What some people believe is when you do that kind of filtration, though, you can remove some of the different chemicals in there. So
they're literally cooling it.
they chill it down. Yeah, they chill it down, and then it'll help increase the viscosity of it, which I know last week I think you guys talked a little bit about viscosity, how thick,
we did.
how thick it is, how easy it is to pour, that kind of thing. So when you cool it down, you end up thickening it up a little bit, and it changes the filtration characteristics. So what can happen when you do these filtration steps is you can actually end up removing
Flavors?
Yeah, some compounds in there.
Oh.
So whiskey in general is, hundreds of different compounds. If you ran it through an analyzer or something, just absolutely 100. Not as many as wine. Like, that's really, really complex. Coffee, super complex.
Ooh.
But whiskey, it's distilled, so you pull out a lot of the real weird stuff out of the grain when you distill it because it just doesn't boil at a hot enough temperature to pull those compounds out. But once you do get it out, then you age it in the barrels. And the barrel is really where whiskey gets its flavor. Yeah. There's some that you get from whatever you're using in your mash bill. So I don't know. Did you mention what the mash bill was on this?
Mash bill on this is, hold on a second. It doesn't give me percentages.
That's fine.
But what's in it?
But most.
It's going to be corn, wheat, rye, and malt.
Okay, which is basically everything.
Basically, and if it's classified as a bourbon has to be at least 50% corn.
Oh, okay.
So if they say it's a bourbon, doesn't matter where it's made, nothing like that. Like people always say, oh, bourbon's got to be
it's
Kentucky.
got to be Kentucky. No.
Kentucky makes some good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but bourbon just means 50+% corn.
Interesting.
And usually then they'll add other things to it, and it'll be barley. It'll be occasionally they'll put some wheat in there. Some of the real hard to get whiskeys these days, the Pappies, the Van Winkle series, and then the lower levels of that, like Weller and things like that. Those are all wheated whiskeys, so they actually put wheat in their recipe as well. Gives it a little bit of a neat sweetness.
Oh, okay.
And then corn, of course, for bourbons. And then you get components like rye, where you can have a rye whiskey, which is usually 50+% rye.
So how does that work? How is it 50% corn and 50% rye?
Well, you usually don't have that. Usually it's either a bourbon or rye.
Oh, gotcha.
You're not
so you
going to
can't
find
have a rye
both.
bourbon.
Right. But
You can have a rye, a rye-er bourbon.
Right. Like Bullet, for instance. Bullet has their rye. Then they have their bourbon. But Bullet bourbon is actually pretty high rye
rye-y.
content. Yeah, they actually add quite a bit of rye to it. Okay. And so if you drink like a bourbon or drink a Bullet bourbon versus another bourbon out there, take your pick. The Bullet's going to taste a little bit spicier. It's going to have a little more of that rye character to it because it is a higher rye content in the mash bill.
Oh, interesting.
And if you like that, buy a rye.
Okay.
So I just found the mash bill for this. It is a 75% corn, 15% wheat, 7% rye, and 3% malted barley.
There you go.
Yep.
So those are
So very low rye.
So low rye content, but it still has some.
Well, that's because some don't have any, right?
Right. Yeah, there's some that don't do no rye at all. And a lot of and again, the blending is really the end result of all this. So you find all the different barrels and you blend what you like and make something that actually works out well for you. But yeah, so this one, generally when I do tastings, I say there's like 3 levels of whiskey drinkers. There's like the casual drinker, there's the whiskey enthusiast, and then there's like whiskey experts or connoisseurs. I am somewhere in the middle range there.
You're in the enthusiast.
I am sub-expert, but I went to a bunch of whiskey tastings, and I was trying to host one, and the people no-showed that were supposed to run it. So I canceled, and then I said, never again. So after that, I just started running my own. So
nice.
Got a bunch of books. I was already a big enjoyer of whiskey anyways.
Sure.
But yeah, basically it taught myself everything I could, and that was about 10 years ago, and ever since then I've been doing occasional whiskey tastings for charity and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And it's been a good time. It's
you should host
always
one here.
enjoyable. Always happy to.
In the plans.
So the way that I usually go about when I'm teaching people how to enjoy a whiskey properly, and not properly is a very, very loose term. So you can enjoy it however the hell you want. But the first step is don't shoot it. You're wasting.
Wait, hold on.
Say
it again.
You're
Say it
wasting
again. What do you not do, Gil? Did you hear that?
Enjoy it.
Did you hear that? When you
Don't
have
shoot
an
it.
$80 freaking.
I didn't shoot it.
I just drank it very quickly.
I just didn't want to put it down. It was good.
Yeah,
That was Scotch, though, right?
That was Scotch.
That was the
Macallan
Macallan 18.
That is nice.
Well, I don't know why you'd shoot that though.
I didn't shoot it.
All right, Mike. So
Anyway,
run
go
us-
ahead.
You sipped quickly. Different worlds
sip
completely.
quickly.
So,
Absolutely.
so usually the first step on it is when you pour your glass. A little different from the order that last week they were talking about. I like to take a look at it first. And usually the one thing, if I have a white piece of paper or something, take a look at what the color is. The color doesn't necessarily mean everything, but what it does mean often if the color is darker, it tends to mean it spent a lot more time in a barrel, or it spent time in a barrel with a darker char on it.
A different number char, yeah.
Yeah, a different number char. So you have medium char, and yeah, and a lot of them are medium char. It's kind of the generic. But it also could mean they aged it in different weird barrels. So I think the stuff I had earlier was aged in a port barrel.
Correct. So that's going to be a little bit darker already.
Yeah, it can have a little bit more of a red tinge, something like that.
Yeah.
There's Madeira casks that things can be aged in, port barrels, wine barrels, you name it. Jameson has a series where they're aged in beer barrels.
Oh, wow.
An IPA cask, and I think they have a Guinness cask as well.
Guinness cask, yeah, I have it at home.
And it's tasty. I mean, it brings out some interesting flavors in it. So when all these whiskeys start, they're just a clear liquor. They're essentially moonshine, and then you put it in the different barrels and you age it through whatever process you want to do. So bourbon's usually at least 3 years old. It's kind of the guideline that they go by. Bourbons usually don't have age statements. Sometimes they'll put them on there if they really want to impress you.
Okay.
But it's not like a Scotch where Scotch always has an age statement.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, there's such a blend of ages that they're too embarrassed to tell you how young it is.
This one is 4 to 5.5 years. Okay.
There you go. So, yep, it'll tell you, but usually they don't put it as part of the name. It's
Right.
not like, oh, yeah.
On the bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
it's not
like
a
Glenmore
Penelope 4.5.
Exactly. Yeah. That would just be weird.
Little
Yeah.
embarrassing.
But so usually look at the color, and the color, you're not going to really learn too much from it, but it's interesting to note. Okay, this one is darker than this one. If you're doing two side by sides,
Is there a reason why they don't age them like they do with a Scotch?
I'm sure there is.
Okay.
Yep.
You're
there
going to
we
have
go.
someone who actually makes bourbon for a living. Why that is? I mean, it
All
might
right.
be an economy thing. It might just be a Scottish tradition.
Okay.
That they tend to always do that.
I mean, I do definitely taste the difference in scotches between like a 12-year and 18-year.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a huge difference. So I'm just curious if there would be that kind of difference in
Well,
a
if
bourbon.
they're going for a certain flavor and they can get it in 4 years,
yeah.
why age it longer?
Well, you look at some of like the high-end stuff. We're talking about the Pappy 23 year.
Sure.
Pappy Van Winkle, they will tell you exactly, it's this old. And same thing with their lower counterpart, the Weller series.
Yeah.
Weller will have they have a Weller 12 year.
Okay.
And so some bourbons do that, and there's a lot to be said for it. It will take some edge off. It'll make it a little bit smoother. Some people think it does a lot, but what each individual tastes is going to be totally different depending on who you are.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we'll get to the tasting part. I'll get to that. So the nose is the next thing that usually we check for on this. And the nose, the Glencairn glass has a nice little shape to it. It's shaped this way specifically so that you can have the bulk of the liquid on the bottom, the narrows at the top. That way it condenses the aromas up at the top. It makes it easier to smell. If you had this in a martini glass, for instance, it's shaped the exact opposite way.
Oh, yeah.
And you basically end up diluting the aroma so much that you're not going to be able to smell anything.
Interesting.
So the problem with smelling after you've been smoking a cigar is likely your fingers were touching a cigar.
Yes.
So you're going to pick up notes of smoke in literally everything you smell here tonight. But it's all right.
Yeah.
So the way that we have also that I'll teach in, I'm doing tastings is either take a finger or we do an eyedropper. You take a dab, put it on the back of your hand, and smell it that way. And the reason for this is if you do this and just stick your nose in there and inhale,
Yeah.
the thing that evaporates the first, which is going to be what's taking up the most of this it's called headspace in here, is going to be alcohol.
Yes.
So you're going to
We've learned
get
this.
We did.
you're going to get so much alcohol hit, especially if you're
Yes.
doing something that's barrel proof like this. You get a ton of alcohol. So if you put it on your hand
Definitely different.
Definitely
I definitely get
different.
different.
and you let it evaporate a little bit, what you're left with is all the flavor and aroma compounds that are in the alcohol without actually getting the alcohol shot that'll destroy your nose and basically prevent you from being able to enjoy the rest of it.
Smells like nail polish remover.
Now,
Yeah, I'll do
have you
that.
heard the open mouth piece of it?
I was reading that in the notes from last week. I haven't done that, but I understand the principle. Like you do with wine as well, where
Yeah.
you bring it in and you try to mix it with a lot of air and everything to get it get it oxygenated a little bit. And
Yeah, I had a guy that was doing a lot of whiskey tastings. He wasn't from this area. He was traveling. He was here one night, and he had told me, like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it. And I was like, holy crap. So I brought it up on the podcast, and it did make so much difference because we were always, like, closed mouth, just smelling.
And like you said, that alcohol just
acetone,
overpowers.
nail polish remover the whole entire time, every time.
the other thing you can try with this too, though, is, and this is whenever I do tastings, I always bring along a whole bunch of eyedroppers. Oh. And so what you can do with that is take like just a couple drops of water in there. And because a lot of these compounds, as you know, oil and water don't mix. And so some of these compounds are slightly oily. And so if you drop a couple drops of water in there, not enough to dilute it, but just enough to, what it'll do is it'll kind of break the surface tension on the top of the whiskey, and it'll release a totally different set of aroma compounds out of the glass.
Really?
And so it actually, you get a totally different nose on it after a couple drops of water and swishing it around.
That's cool.
Which is kind of neat. It's I don't know. It's all academic mostly. Like, no one's sitting there at a bar and like with a freaking eyedropper. It's academic. It's fun though. It's I don't know.
But if you're at a tasting, that makes sense because that's the whole point. Like
exactly. And next time you go out to something, like if I have a glass of water sitting at the
maybe
table and
put a couple
if I buy a
drops in there.
$30 glass of bourbon, maybe I'll try a drop or two of water just to release whatever the hell's in there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So then after that, then you can go into the actual tasting portion, which I know he was talking about doing a lot of the slurping and the oxygenating, which is
Josh, why don't you
totally
taste
good way to do
yours?
it.
I already did.
Oh, is yours gone?
It
oh,
is.
look.
Oh wait,
His
how did
is
that
gone.
happen? Oh, because he shoots it.
Yep.
or because the podcast is delayed by a half hour, one or the other.
Yeah, that too.
You want some more?
Same reason my
Pour more.
cigar's gone. So yes.
If you want to try some of the other ones, you can.
Are those ones even open?
No, but you can open them.
So when you're tasting it, the alternative to doing this, the gurgling method, part of what that accomplishes is it gets into all the different areas on your tongue.
Yeah.
So as you know, like different parts of your tongue taste different things: sweet, salty, bitter, all that. And so when you do take it, before you swallow it, if you make sure you coat all areas of your tongue before you swallow it, then you can basically try to experience the different chemicals that are in there, and some of them will taste all different ways.
That is cool.
I was
just
doing
did
that part right.
Didn't even touch your mouth. I mean,
I've just been steadily sipping on it. You guys are just sitting here looking at it.
we're trying to do a podcast here.
So you just bring it. So what I do is I bring it in my mouth and I like suck air in through my lips.
Yeah.
Oh.
I purse my lips and I just kind of suck air through it and kind of
Oh,
aerates
that's
it.
an interesting idea.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the other thing that does too is you also help dilute some of the alcohol vapors that are in there too, because as you know, your mouth and your nose are connected back there, and so you end up basically rocking out your nose when you have too much alcohol in there at once. And that's what I was telling Josh right before we started here, that if I'm sipping on a whiskey that's more than 100 proof or so, I can usually tell that it's over 100 proof because I'll taste it in my nose.
Yeah.
I'll get the alcohol vapors. There's so much alcohol in there that it'll actually hit me in the nose, and I'll go, oh, hello, yeah, there it is.
What is this one? What's the proof on this? Do you know?
This one's 115.
Yeah, you can definitely taste it.
It's a hot one.
You can definitely taste it. Yeah, but I did that thing where
Paperwork's wrong, Josh. By the way, this is from a different batch they made. This is batch 14. I think we have batch 15.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did the whole coating my tongue thing, and it's infinitively more. That's not a word, but it's like
Infinitely?
no, that's not the word I want. I know that word.
Infinitely?
No, I guess it is infinitely,
Infinitely
but
better.
like extra, a little bit better,
Infinitely
a
better.
little bit more,
That's
like
what you're
infinity
looking
plus
for.
one.
I find especially the sides of the tongue are where I really like.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because
Absolutely.
normally when you sip it goes kind of tip the tongue straight back and just like makes a line towards your throat.
Yeah.
And if you spread it to the sides, you get a different flavor. I don't know what it is. I think
I just tried that.
It's a totally different flavor.
kind of
Like
fun.
it takes over my
should
mouth.
try it.
It's pretty. Oh
No, I did.
Oh, you
said you
can't.
already did
Oh,
it.
you can't. Oh,
You guys are all saying this, but that's what I do. I'll coat the whole tongue. I'll go underneath my tongue.
Are you
like
a whiskey connoisseur?
I think so.
maybe
maybe a
an
little bit.
enthusiast.
I'd go
Enthusiast.
enthusiast.
I
Just
think
like drinking.
enthusiast is probably a safe place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm still getting to the point of connoisseur is probably more whiskey than I need in my life.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, so then after that, it's essentially the tasting. You get the initial taste, like what is the first thing that pops in your mind. Next is, okay, well, it's in there. And as you're waiting for it to hit all parts of your tongue, and then they all kind of start coming together, what does that taste like? And then what is the finish? And then the finish is, what are you left with? And so for this one, like I get a little bit of caramel in there. I get a little bit of
caramel in what part?
In the finish is what I'm getting.
In the finish,
I taste a little bit as well throughout, but that's kind of a typical bourbon thing to get.
Bourbon is usually
so
caramel.
I'm gonna go
bourbon-
through. Actually, Josh, want to go through the tasting notes so we can just say the.
Yeah, so you were talking about the 4 different parts. You got the aroma, forward notes, body notes, and finish, right?
So the aroma.
The aroma is candied corn, caramel, and subtle char notes. Forward notes, savory cinnamon with rich notes of dark chocolate, oak. The body notes are the savory vanilla cream with hints of creme brulee. And the finish is a delightfully long, savory finish of sweet cream and savory grain notes.
Yeah, the sweet cream, the creme brulee, it's like kind of the caramelization that is real nice. And a lot of bourbons will get that. And the reason for that is actually the oak casks that it's aged in usually. Oak happens to have vanillins compounds in there, and so you end up with a lot of the vanilla flavor whenever anything is aged in oak. It pulls some of that vanilla flavor out. So bourbons tend to have
vanilla compounds in oak.
Something I've also noticed.
Like scientifically,
vanillins.
Oak.
Vanillins is like the technical term.
It
vanillins.
is. It is indeed.
Like, wow.
Yeah, that's.
Do you ever notice that a barrel strength takes away from a little bit of that caramel flavor because of the actual strength of the whiskey itself or the bourbon?
Depends. There is a local distillery.
I think we have a winner right now for the.
Is there a
Does
selfie?
Kyle have a selfie here?
All right, hold on. Pause. Let's pause.
Random person that I don't know.
We don't know Kyle at all.
Maybe Kyle has the Epic Pass with him for a
Go
certain
ahead. You can come
crew
in.
member.
He's trying to get paid here.
All right, there's Miles. Did you like and subscribe on our Facebook page, Stogies and Spirits? Yeah, you can do it right now.
Yeah, you can do it. We'll let you do that.
Facebook.
Oh, and YouTube. Do it on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe to YouTube.
Subscribe to our YouTube.
Most profitable like and subscribe you'll ever do.
Yes.
Only cost me $100.
Yeah. Right. This is manageable. $100 per subscription.
That ain't bad. I don't mind this.
We'll be at $1 million in no time. $100 million later.
$1 million.
But you can keep going.
Did you find
Yeah,
it?
well,
Yeah, keep going.
Some
Mike.
of there's a local distillery around here that I've tried their bourbons.
Oh.
And
What are they called? Are you not allowed to say?
no, I am. No, certainly is. It's Sweetwater down in Winchester.
Okay.
And I tried their barrel strength, and I tried their normal strength.
Yeah.
And I mean, their barrel strength was excellent.
Okay.
Their standard strength, it wasn't my flavor.
No.
And I think part of the reason is because you get such a dilution sometimes with the water.
Oh, interesting.
So it came off. I mean, barrel strength can vary.
So what does that mean, barrel strength?
It means whatever they pull it out of the barrel as. Usually when that moonshine, the clear whiskey comes out of the still.
Yeah.
Usually comes out. Usually by law it has to be less than around 165 proof or so.
Okay.
So when that comes out at that proof, then it goes into the barrels, and over time you lose alcohol
Sure,
through it.
it evaporates
Calls
or whatever.
The angel share, which people like to call it.
Okay.
Or the devil's cut.
Well, the devil's cut's the other side of that.
That's a different-
That's after they wring out the barrels afterwards. You get the devil's cut.
Oh,
but the
Find it?
but the angel share is the part that evaporates, and so it starts off at
Nice.
100 and usually 140 or so, but it goes up
he's
to
over there.
160. After that,
In the
dilutes
cigar
down,
box.
and by the time it comes out, it's barrel proof.
Yeah.
So barrel proof just means uncut.
Let's get your picture.
Oh wait, hold on. So take a pause.
That's some cash money right there.
Yeah, it's all ones,
Let's
man.
do the promotion.
All right, you're good. Thank you.
Ready for the?
Have a good night, man.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on your $100 in singles.
Now run back to the nooch and spend all that.
Enjoy those singles. Yeah.
I don't know who the guest is, but
Mike.
Now go
to meet
spend
you.
that at the nooch.
Yes.
Enjoy your bush.
everyone shots.
There you go.
The circle of life. Right
You
there.
heard it here. He's buying everyone
Enjoy the bush
shots.
light, Kyle.
Now do you see why I do this?
Yeah, there you go.
They win it here.
Yeah, and then they go back there
They
and they
go
spend it.
Get it back.
You get it back. Yeah, exactly. It's a
Goddamn
circle.
genius, man.
I get the like, I get the subscribe, and I get the money back.
Nice.
So sometimes
So with the barrel strength,
the barrel strength is what it comes out the barrel as. So
Okay.
basically, it means it's not cut with water after the fact.
and so it typically most bourbons, whiskeys, whatever you're gonna have, they're cut with water once they come out of the barrel to reduce the alcohol content.
Yeah, it makes it more palatable for people. I mean, as you guys are seeing right now, like when you go and coat your tongue with this and like whoop, it lights you up a little bit.
It does.
110's it's a good proof. It's on the high end of what I like to drink. I think like a good proof for me, I like about 100, 105. I think it's the right combination of where you get the flavor, but you don't destroy your taste buds and blow your sinuses out with ethanol.
What was that special wild turkey that we had on that
Long Branch,
Long Branch?
I haven't tried the Long Branch.
very good.
It was.
I'm a Wild Turkey fan too.
delicious.
That's my.
Oh, if you like wild turkey,
that is my
My God, it was-
sipping and mixing.
Sergeant
whiskey.
Sergeant Gill's a wild turkey man.
Yeah.
I used to have a T-shirt that say support wildlife, drink wild turkey.
Nice.
It was amazing, and it was.
Gill, you and guacamole over here.
Guacamole.
Long Branch.
We still need to write Wild Turkey and have them change the rare bird,
Oh yeah.
rare breed.
rare breed to rare bird.
bird. Yeah.
It's just a rare breed of bird.
I
Yeah,
guess
it's
it
rare
could be.
bird.
No, it's a rare breed.
But yeah, that was
me change
good.
it.
That rare
was
breed is
really
good stuff. Yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, wild turkey, it's sweet. It's a good. I mean, it was one of the first bourbons I started drinking. I was like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
it's sweet. It's easy drinking. Like it makes a heck of a mixer. That said, like it's not something I'm going to be drinking out of a Glencairn. I mean,
not.
maybe the rare breed I will.
Well, yeah, no, I mean it was really good.
I would do the Long Branch out of.
And I want to try that at some point. Then it sounds good.
Do we have?
Didn't he say there was
Long
only
Branch?
a certain amount of
I don't think I have any more.
barrels that they made of that stuff? The guy like brought it in special for us
No,
to
that was
taste?
the Old Forester.
Oh, that was the Old Forester.
Yeah,
That was
the
really
150,
good.
150th anniversary, I think.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
There was only like
126 proof?
How many barrels? He said there's like 100 barrels of it or something,
80?
or 80 barrels.
80 barrels, yeah.
Yeah.
Old Forester went nuts recently. The last 10 years, like their brand just.
Exploded.
Yeah, I mean, they used to be like, that was kind of like, whatever your grandfather had lying down somewhere. and then suddenly it turned into like, they have like 8 different editions of different years that they were copying mash bills from the 1800s. It's cool stuff. And
Yeah, they have really
Oh,
good stuff.
absolutely.
But yeah, so it's so this being barrel proof, like this is a relatively low barrel proof. You can get barrel proofs up in the 120s and stuff like
wow.
that. But that's it's
That's insane.
you gotta like it. You gotta like it.
Like the Booker's. Booker's is like usually 120 something, right?
Yeah, Booker's is super high.
Okay.
And some of that is, just how long you let it sit in the barrel. Some of it is how long you, what proof it came into the barrel at. Most of these places have pretty tight quality control, though. I mean, these are industrial stills that they're running it out of. And they've got good control, and they know exactly what it's going in at. They know what it'll be after this amount of time to within 1 or 2 proof at least. Like they'll know about where it'll be, but a lot of it depends on how porous is the oak, how dense is the wood, like is it going to evaporate more and stuff like that. But
So you were bringing up something to me when we weren't here, I believe. I think we were talking online, talking about distilling.
yeah,
This brand doesn't have their own distillery, though, correct?
right, which is actually really common with ryes. Really, really common with ryes. Like there are so few distilleries out there that actually like malt their own ryes and do their own rye distilling because it's super sticky, gross, messy process that nobody wants to deal with.
Okay.
Hey,
Is there a
but-
reason? Is it like for Rise? Is it? Boston scored. That's why.
Yeah, they Bruins scored. Yeah,
Everyone got a little excited.
Yeah. So
Go Bruins.
is rye more
Predators suck.
sticky and nasty than others,
Yeah.
or
yeah, rye. It's
Leafs.
it's just got when you're doing the malting process, you got to crack
Leafs.
open all the. Don't go Leafs.
Fuck the Leafs. Sorry. So you have to crack
But
it all
yeah,
open.
yeah.
you talking about cigar leaves? Oh wait, no, we
Not
already went
those
past
leaves.
that.
It was like MGP or something, you said?
Yeah, it used to be called Midwestern Grain Products was the name. It's basically a massive distillery in Indiana. And you look at a lot of the ryes out there, a lot of these like craft ryes. What they'll do is they essentially buy barrels of rye, and they'll be pre-aged to XYZ years, and it's good whiskey. It's nothing shameful about using this method. And then what they do is they'll pick individual barrels and they'll figure out what blend they want.
But this isn't a rye, though.
No, they also have a massive bourbon side.
Okay.
They have.
So they do a
And
little,
it's
they do
pretty
a lot.
heavy rye. Well, it's what, 9? You said 9%
7%,
rye,
something like that.
7%.
So they just distill alcohol in all these smaller brands, micro brands.
Yeah, they create. I mean, you can go there and they'll have barrels and barrels and barrels of, this is a 5-year, this is a 10-year, this is a 7-year, 3-year, whatever, and then basically you can buy from them. I want to buy a barrel of this age of this grain type. And then you can take them and you bring them back and you can blend them however you want. And that's why all these different micro distilleries, even though they may not, some of them distill all their own. Like Sweetwater distills their own, Copper Cannon distills their own, to name the 2 local ones around here. But, some of the places that are really expanding large, like, I think Tuckerman's started distributing a lot a few years back. And not Tuckerman, sorry. What the hell's the one over in Smuggler's Notch?
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
They have
Smuggler's
some good stuff.
and their rye it's an MGP product as well.
Okay.
Really?
But most of the ryes out there are tend to be either MGP or they are focusing on rye specifically because it's complicated. Like Whistlepig buys from an equivalent company up in Canada.
Oh, really?
Even though they're a Vermont company, but but it all has to do with the blending, the tasting, they create unique whiskeys.
Oh, absolutely.
But the real heavy, intense industrial work of actually doing the distillation doesn't always happen at the distilleries. And if it does, it'll happen probably for their neutral spirits, their gins, their vodkas, stuff like that.
Okay.
And less to do with the age stuff because barrels are expensive, because, it's hard to get your hands on really good barrels all the time. There's a lot of first thing I asked Josh is like, oh, is Penelope like an MGP product? And just out of curiosity, but yeah, they're always they make some good stuff.
So are they or not?
They are. Yeah,
They are.
Yep, but
So
it's good for consistency. That's the other big thing is that if the smaller the distiller, it's like microbrew. Like the smaller your distiller, the smaller your brewery, the higher the chances that you're going to have
The consistency is
weird
hard
consistency. Yeah, and you'll have not to pick on anyone, but I know like Garrison City Beer Works out of Dover. They were huge. Like they were all the rage about 10 years ago or 8 years ago. And their stuff was amazing. And then you'd have one batch, you're like, what the hell happened? And they fixed that since then. But it was the kind of the growing pains. And I think the same goes for distilleries in a lot of places. It's easier to control it when you've got someone who does all your analytical chemistry for you. And
It's done.
it's cool though.
What do you have, Josh, over there? You have something for us?
Oh, I was just he brought up Indiana, and I still want to try that Old 55. They've got. Have you ever heard of Old 55?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I never had it.
So they actually just released 100% sweet corn bourbon.
So there's nothing else. It's just sweet corn
Yep,
for the mash bill.
that's what it says. It's
So it'll be
small
sweet.
batch, heart cut, 40%, 100% sweet corn.
Nice. Hey, good old corn liquor.
The old corn liquor. Is it aged in barrels or is it like moonshine?
No, it's aged in barrels.
Okay,
Well, that's
that'd
good,
be-
yeah.
That'd be interesting to try. I'd try that.
I've had some raw corn liquor, and boy,
So what did you rate this at, Josh?
Oh,
Or Gil? Sergeant Gil.
forgot about the rating.
Going a high 6.8, 6.9.
Yep.
Not my favorite, but I also don't know that I'm a huge barrel strength guy.
It is strong.
It's very strong, yeah.
It's very strong.
I like somewhere between, like he was talking about, 100, 105 is about as high as I like to get. So
What do you think, Warren? You've had it two things.
I've had it in 2 things. Now, to be perfectly fair, in an old fashioned, a Manhattan, any kind of bourbon drink, I mean, everything else in there is just going to mask it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's just
Even with the barrel proof. You didn't feel like it was a little bit stronger?
I really didn't, to be perfectly honest. I really didn't. And maybe it's because it's the 110 and it's just kind of
115.
Or 150. Oh, 150, that's pretty strong.
High. That's high.
I should definitely be able to taste that, but I don't know. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's all watered down now with ice, so
that's true. Oh yeah, so now it's
you got
definitely
nothing. You just got
nothing.
flavors. So what would you rate it, though?
I would go. I was thinking 6.6 is where I'd go with that. And I'm harsh on my ratings, so to get me into a 7 is something that I'm going to ask for every time I come in.
Correct.
An 8 is something I'm gonna if you're within
What would you rate the Pappy 23 we had?
I'm driving for that. That's in the 9s. So that's the way I rate. 9s, I'm gonna find you. If it's within 100 miles, I'm going there and I'm getting it.
Yeah.
An 8, if you're local, that's where I'm gonna go there to get you. 7, if it's at the bar, I'm gonna drink it. 6, you buy it for me, I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah.
5s and below,
If you're already been having,
yeah, it
quite a
depends how.
few.
Yeah, it depends how many I've had.
If someone
if
buys
it's
you a
my
shot
fourth one,
at the end
then
of the night.
maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm
This
at
is
a
a
6-6 with this.
Mike?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I'll tell you. I mean, I hadn't tried any of the Penelope brand yet.
Penelope's.
No, I mean, I hadn't tried any of their stuff before, and I was really looking forward tonight to trying this out. And I haven't tried the other ones. I heard good things about it. Is there one of those that's like a toasted something or other?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had heard good things about that one, and this
There's
one
the toasted Penelope's.
Yeah.
and this one I tend to gravitate towards the barrel proof just because I think it concentrates all the flavors a little bit better. But it's, I don't know. I'd say it's probably between a 6 and 7 as well. I'd just go a little lower, probably like a 6.2, 6.3, something like that. If I had to rate it, I'm enjoying my glass.
Yeah.
And my ratings aren't quite as harsh. Like I think Warren's grades kind of go like exponential when it gets past an 8 or so, whereas mine's a little more steady. Like Pappy 23. I've only had the 21. I've never had the 23, I don't think. But the 21 still ranks. It's so far up there. Weeded whiskeys are so nice, and this one has a nice wheat content.
It does
to
has
it.
a good amount of wheat content. 15%.
It adds a neat little bit of. I don't know. I say graininess, which is silly for a whiskey because everything's fucking grain in there.
Sure.
But it's there's a certain quality to it that I am enjoying immensely. But I'd say anything above a 5 for me is something like I would say I am enjoying my drink. And if it's above a 6, I'd say, yeah, like if it was that or XYZ, like, some generic micro distillery. If it's above a 6, I'd probably take it over a generic micro distillery. And then 7, once you get to that, it's like, yeah, I'm going to single that out of the bar. And then probably similar to Warren here, it's like, yeah, above an 8, like, I'm going to go out of my way if I hear they have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to come try it. Yeah.
There's a couple, there's Kentucky Owl I tried for the first time about a year and a half ago, and it blew me away. Like, it was so good, but it also is $125 a bottle in the liquor store. It's the most expensive bourbon you can get on the normal shelf.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. But that one, like, if someone has it, I'll be like, I'll go get a glass of that if I'm like looking for a bourbon that night.
Sure.
And then above that, you get to the nutty stuff that, like, yeah, like your top shelf now is above any other top shelf in Keene.
Like, I hope you beefed up the security
without
in this place.
without question right now.
Oh, my top shelf at the Diplomat, I've worked really hard to get here.
Oh yeah.
And I just added a new bottle tonight, which you tried.
It was fantastic. It was very rye.
But if you're
What was
a
it?
whiskey or bourbon drinker or scotch, like coming here, you're going to get some pretty rare stuff.
I heard the Pappy was the mystery tonight.
If Pappy's the mystery, I'm firing her on the spot. It's going to be like literally Michaela just walk out the fucking door.
But yeah, your top shelf. Like, I mean, I've any bar that has opened in this region in the last 15 years, I have been there to try their whiskeys, and like I've been there to check it out. And like the top whiskey bar that Keene area has had previously was probably Cayley House. The Celtic pub that was where Summit Winery is now.
Yeah.
Their Scotch and Irish selection was out of this world at the time, but they only lasted like 8 months or something.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of like out there. There's
is.
nothing like that's definitely one of those things. Like you said, you rate it an 8 or higher, you're going to drive to get it, and that's what people needed to do. So.
And their scotches were worth driving from. They had some really great selection, and and beyond that, like a lot of places in town here have some good whiskeys. Like if I go in there, I'll be like, oh, I see that bottle. Yep.
But the restaurants, they have to like for the masses.
Exactly.
And we're a specialized place.
And that's
Cigar
why,
Lounge.
it is hands down now. That is a heck of a collection you got up there right
Thank you.
now. And everything from, you got that Blood Oath up there still?
I do have
It's up
Blood
there.
Oath.
Yeah, no, everything, the Blood Oath.
I bought 6 bottles of it.
Damn, boy.
Yeah.
And the Pappy 23, it's just, it's unheard of for a bar to have that, let alone like a bar in a town of Keene size to have that. It is an exquisite bottle that if you can you can ever get your hands on it, and that's the problem. Like,
You can't.
I got a couple bottles of Weller at home, which is Weller. If you're unfamiliar with the Pappy franchise, Weller is basically like the stuff. They're like, it's not quite Pappy, but it's the same stuff.
just as good.
It's the same stuff, and I love my Weller. It's delicious, but like that's just because I can't get my hands on Pappy.
Well, and that's the thing in New Hampshire too, because in New Hampshire, in order to sell alcohol, you have to buy it from the state. So even if you find it online or anywhere, you can't sell it in a bar or anywhere
Unless
in New
you
Hampshire
buy it from the state.
unless you buy it from
Right.
the state, which is why most restaurants aren't going to have stuff this quality because there's just not enough of it, and they're not going to pay to do it.
Correct.
So
Yep, you got to win the raffles. I mean, that's the way
Way
to
to do
get because there are so many people in New Hampshire that are looking for these rare bottles.
Absolutely.
Whether those rare bottles be Pappies and the things that are like the real like the unicorns of the whiskey world.
sure.
What is the MSRP on that bottle of Pappy
I
23?
will not tell you. You can Google it.
The
The MSRP is not the problem with it. It's the beauty of the New Hampshire liquor store system is that it is an expensive bottle,
yes.
but the secondary market is really where the problem
Secondary
is.
secondary
It's
market
scarcity.
price. Secondary market price
What,
is
$5,000,
6,000.
6,000?
6,000, yeah. That's secondary market stuff is
Sure.
for Pappy is where it's all about because it's just scarcity.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys want to try a mystery alcohol tonight?
Well, are you going to rate the Penelope?
I'm going to rate Penelope's at 7.1.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's really good. I like
Yeah.
Penelope stuff.
Penelope.
Penelope.
Stop with the Penelope thing.
I feel bad saying that when we're talking about it because I actually read a little bit of their history. It's actually named after the
Owner's
creator's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh well, now I'm a bad
Now
person.
you feel like an asshole.
No, actually, there's the consignment shop in town. I started referring to it as Penelopes.
Penelopes.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was so I saw the bourbon. I was like, oh, yeah, it's
There you go.
Penelope.
All right.
see.
I definitely won't say that
See my
tonight.
phone
Are you
works.
Bluetoothed in?
Let's see if it works tonight.
It should, but who knows?
It's not ringing yet.
But that's your phone.
No, it hasn't even called yet. Like it says.
But I mean, that's your
Here it goes.
phone.
Here it goes.
Who we calling?
Nobody apparently, because I don't hear it.
I don't hear shit.
Wah wah wah.
This fucker.
Should I just yell through the mic at her?
No, I'm gonna go up and tell her because I want to grab you guys a little taste of the toasted.
Oh, I'd love that.
You
Yeah.
didn't bring that down.
So I'll be right back. If you want to talk about toasted, we have.
Is it on here?
We have a sheet here about the toasted.
I got it right here. All right, so the toasted is 75% corn.
Pappy. Sorry.
Oh, we're drinking Pappy now? All right, I mean, don't twist my arm. I guess we're drinking Pappy. I mean,
Oh, nice. Yeah. So the toasted.
No.
Yeah, we were just talking about the char level. So we got a char level 3, heavy toast.
okay, so do you know the different char levels?
I don't know what they all exactly what the numbers all correlate to as far as
Okay.
like
Just
scientifically what they
a
all
bigger
mean.
number is more char.
Yeah, it's going to be more char and it's going to be potentially a darker char.
Okay.
When the barrels basically have a propane torch stuck inside of them,
Yeah.
the barrels get rotated and you just burn the inside of the barrels to get the burnt flavor. And what that'll do is, first of all, it'll help color your whiskey.
Sure.
So darker chars and higher toast levels will tend to make the whiskey a little bit darker colored. And it'll also tend to get some, when you burn something, you're changing the chemical composition of the wood.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get all sorts of different, you won't just get like extra smoke. You're not going to get like burnt flavor,
Sure.
but you could get a hint of that. But you're also completely changing, like I was saying, like vanillins and stuff like that. When you burn a vanillin, suddenly you're burning it. You're changing the
Burning
chemical
villains.
changing the composition chemically, so you can create all sorts of different flavors in it.
Are these your flight glasses,
This is
Josh?
toasted.
These
yeah.
are adorable glasses.
Right?
Part of the.
They don't come.
These are my new flight glasses because we're going to start doing bourbon flights here or bourbon whiskey scotch flights.
Very
and
nice.
you can pick and choose what you want. So I'm going to have a whole list of all my alcohols, my bourbon whiskey scotch, and you can pick and choose what you want to drink.
Are there tiered flights?
No, there's not. That's literally no.
So it's
just
$100. Pappy,
You could buy-
Pappy, Pappy.
you could buy a $2.50 Basil Hayden and buy a $80 Pappy.
So they're all different
So this
prices.
would
based on
Pappy
what
would
you
be
choose.
$80 on this size.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the half, right?
No, that's all. Well, you guys have almost a full ounce, but
Oh, really? Okay. So what's interesting about this is 75% corn. So that's a huge amount of corn, which you're going to get in a bourbon over 50. But it's also 21% rye. That's a huge amount of rye.
that's way more than the other one.
Way more. So this is very rye-y. And
I didn't
then
know they changed their. I thought they left.
the percentages
I
the
thought
same.
I thought their whole 4-grain series was like, hey, this is our mash bill.
Yeah.
We're just going to age these differently.
No, and then 3% malted barley, and I don't know what.
So no wheat at all then,
None.
or actually 1%, I guess.
Well,
Because
I don't know.
adds
That's
up
a
to
good-
99.
That's what I was going to say. Is it like, do they consider water part of that? But no, that's the mash bill. So it's we're missing a percentage here.
Water is 44%.
What do you think, Josh?
45%.
I
water.
haven't tasted it yet, but what I think is funny, you guys were talking about, putting your finger in it and putting it on your hand.
Ooh.
And I figured out why it is that every time we ever did a like when we were smelling it, why you guys were like, oh, it's acetone.
Yeah.
My sniffer sucks. Like, I can't smell anything when I put it on my hand. I just smell my hand versus putting my nose in it. I actually get a smell.
Gotcha.
I'm not getting nearly as much aroma as the last one either.
Yeah,
like in my
me
the nose
neither.
on this one is maybe
This
I
is-
burnt out my nose. I don't
This
know.
is double barreled as well, so you should get a lot of smokiness.
So what's the difference between double barrel versus what was
Barrel strength.
Barrel strength. What's the difference?
So no, they take it out, they age it, right, and then
Yeah.
they take it out of the barrel, and then they put it in another new
Gotcha.
oak charred barrel.
So it could suck up the juices more
Yeah.
from the fresh barrel.
Correct.
Twice versus the other one is they just take it straight out of the barrel. So
They
this
put it
one's
in the-
still
they
mixed
put-
with water.
They put it in the barrel
afterwards.
once, and that's it. Yeah.
This
Gotcha.
one could be, but it's also 110 proof.
also 110, so
yeah,
maybe
so
not
it
so
might
much.
still be barrel proof. And actually, the real fun stuff is called Solera, where they use the same barrel and then they just keep topping it off.
So
Wait,
as it evaporates, they keep topping
yeah,
it
they
off.
top it off and they'll pour it off they'll pour it off and add more, and so it's actually like the same. Technically, some of the original stuff is still in there, and they just keep adding to the top of it.
Oh, is this the mystery?
That's the mystery. So put that off to the side for right now. So yeah, Solero stuff. There's a Hill Rock.
Yeah.
Hill Rock's out of New York. They do a really good Solero.
right here for you.
I think somebody's trying to win the thing again.
Too
Cheers,
late.
boss.
Yeah.
hold on.
But
But
Just took the photo too.
we have a consolation prize.
he didn't tell you?
He's gonna get something here. What are you getting?
I'm gonna give him $5.
Mr. Washington.
Why'd you get him a drink?
You want a beer? Do you want a beer?
There, he just bought you one.
Want a quick Bud Light? Sure. Michaela, get him a Bud Light.
All right, look at that.
Check his ID first.
Oh fuck.
Which one is which?
Yeah, you guys don't know. You guys don't know what I just did here.
I do know. Hold on, so let me look and see if I can tell which one's
I have a darker one
darker.
and a lighter one.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't.
You do have a darker one.
Which one is darker?
Your left hand's lighter.
Mystery. Oh,
Mystery is lighter.
mystery's lighter.
It's almost got like a pink flavor color to it.
Let's taste the toasted, please, so we can get this over with.
I already I didn't drink the whole thing. I just tasted it.
I thought without a script we would go
This has
shorter,
a lot more mouthfeel to it.
but we went.
The viscosity of this one feels a little bit thicker.
Higher
Hey,
viscosity.
you said that word correct this time.
Viscosity.
Yeah, last time you were
Viscosity?
It is thick. It is thick.
I like
Oh
it.
yeah, she thick.
And yeah, I mean, these alcohol contents are just insane on these things. So
Well, that's nice though.
it is. It is.
Definitely
Very, very different flavor than the
way
first one.
more
though.
like charred flavor.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the toasted, obviously. Yeah, yeah, you get that
Like
smokiness.
spicy, smoky.
very
yeah.
spicy. Yes, very
I like that.
spicy.
And some of that's probably the barrel, the double barrel, the extra toast and stuff, and some of that's also the 21% rye versus 7% rye.
Absolutely.
Good call. Good
Rye's
call.
got that spice.
This is why we have him on.
Yeah, right.
He knows what the fuck he's talking about.
I mean, that, and I just like being here with you guys.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we enjoy, hanging
Let's
out, conversing.
you have the mystery in your hand?
I do.
All right, let's try the mystery.
Ooh, mystery time.
Mystery.
Your mystery's right here on the corner.
You have the mystery machine out?
Are we gonna smell it first?
Yeah, you guys can smell.
are.
It. Yeah,
Okay,
smell it.
good.
Ooh, it smells almost like an Irish.
It is. It is. It is not apple cider vinegar
Thank God.
like it was
It smells
the
like-
other time.
It smells like Bacardi.
No.
Yep, 100%.
It is much sweeter smell, a lot sweeter smell than whatever we were having before.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, Emma.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, she wanted to wave.
All right, let's see.
All right, so you guys taste it. What do you guys think of this? Obviously a mystery. Where are we going?
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
I think my palate was killed to the last one still.
What? Okay.
Sip number 2 on that one.
That is definitely not a bourbon or a whiskey, I don't think at all.
Guess who just shot it?
Oh my God. Well, it's obviously Bacardi. I don't think it's Bacardi though.
I just
That's
say it's
the
Bacardi.
thing.
I'm just going to say it's Bacardi every week until I fucking get it.
It doesn't taste
Hey.
quite sweet enough for Bacardi,
No.
but
Broken clocks right twice a day. Is that what they say?
That's odd.
That is odd.
Why is that?
it tastes like
Is my palate just so shit that I just
No.
can't taste right now?
I think one of the things that you guys are experiencing right now is the fact we just had 210 proof whiskeys.
Yeah.
And now we're drinking something that's probably
Probably
80 or
that's
less,
80
so
or
it
90,
tastes
yeah.
watery.
It's water. Yeah.
Is this flavored water?
I think it's brown flavored water. I think that's what it is. That's
This is definitely
the
keen
notes. Yeah. I get a little bit of hydrogen notes, a little bit of oxygen notes.
The water treatment plant's doing their job. It tastes a little chlorine. Yep.
Wait, I have no idea.
That's one of your bottom shelf something. That's for sure.
Bottom shelf?
It's
Michaela's trying to keep her job. What's the cheapest thing I can put in here? It's beer. Damn it, we're drinking beer.
Son of a bitch.
Shit. I don't know. Michaela, can you move to the side so I can look at what's up there? Just so I can get an idea.
if it's whiskey, I'm going with an Irish because
We don't, well, and that's the thing. So typically, because we have guests from all walks of life. So if someone's not a connoisseur of alcohol, we'll just say, hey, just what is it? Is it, rum? Is it tequila?
it's clearly
Is it-
alcohol.
Is it alcohol? Okay. Hey, there you go.
I think we win.
I'm trying to think of a whiskey that has a pink tint to it.
Pink tint?
Because this, if you look at it, there,
Dude, thank you.
put this next to the oak, and there's a pink, like the last one we just had, the chard. There's a pink tint. to
Kelly's blocking my view.
it. He blocks a lot of people's view.
Yeah,
Jameson?
it's real. I don't think it has enough sweetness for a rum. I'm guessing like an Irish,
Jameson?
but I don't know for sure.
I was gonna say, is it JMO?
JMO, you guys are going JMO. He said Irish whiskey. So
Of some sort.
that's all I have for Irish whiskey.
Yeah, it
right
tastes-
now.
it doesn't-
No, I have Slain too. I
It
have
does
Slain.
taste whiskey-y. It
have
does
Slain.
have that whiskey-y taste to it.
All right. So, Michaela,
Wait, we haven't guessed yet.
I said JMO.
he said JMO. He said Irish whiskey.
I'm saying Irish, but I can't put my finger on which one.
What are you
I don't know what
saying?
you guys
I'm
carry.
going to say Bacardi.
Bacardi.
It's
Okay.
not Bacardi.
I'm definitely going.
Oh no! I saw that bottle.
It's Evan
It's
Williams.
Evan.
It is bottom shelf.
It is bourbon.
We would have never gotten that.
It is
But I did say whiskey.
very very watery compared to what we were just drinking.
Do you have the camera on me?
No, but I can do that.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with Evan Williams.
There you go. Evan Williams.
Much appreciate the bottom line.
The shelf. Is that even on
We
the
went
shelf?
the opposite what I
on the
fucking
well.
asked for. That's for sure.
I mean, the well's a type of shelf.
Total opposite.
It's true. It's
More of
it's
a
on the
trough,
floor.
but yeah.
There you go. Well,
I got to be around when you're feeling
can leave
generous
that
on
one
that
there.
one.
Tonight's the night. Just wait here. You help me clean up. I'll get you some Pappy.
All right, deal.
That was easy.
some Williams.
Pappy Williams.
Pappy Williams.
Oh my
All
goodness.
right.
All
What
right.
else do we got? Did
No, that
you
was a
want to
great
call
time.
anyone?
No, this was a great time. I think
Yeah.
we had a great time tonight. I appreciate Mike coming on.
Great hanging out with you guys.
yeah.
He has
Absolutely.
a wealth of knowledge. I think
Yeah.
we all had a good
Balance.
time.
The benefit of being a whiskey lover is also a chemical engineer. So.
He is a chemical
There you go.
engineer. Yeah.
I was gonna say, up until this show, I've kind of been the SME or subject matter expert on, the whiskey or bourbon, and then he comes on. Now I feel like a dummy.
Right?
No, I just know the shit that nobody cares about. That's the important part.
Well, we care about it, and our
If you're listening to
four
this,
and
they
a
care
half
about it.
listeners care about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the big thing about tasting whiskey or tasting really anything is that, like, what you taste is like fucking dirty socks. Someone else is like, oh, it's mango.
yeah.
And like it's the
Right.
same flavor, it's the same chemical, but like your brain interprets the exact same flavor differently as someone else, and it's the that's what whiskey tastings are really fun for. I do a, hey, here's your samples, and then we go around. Everyone has to write down what they taste. And holy crap, some of the answers we've got. Like I gave my brother the entire flight once beforehand because I wanted some tasting notes to give, like amateur tasting notes. And he's like, oh, this one tastes like that gack slime from the 1990s smelled. Like that was his excuse. And like, oh yeah. You remember? Like
I do remember.
No.
it was like a Nickelodeon thing.
Yeah.
It was like, it had this horrible chemical smell.
Well, it would come in the thing like Play-Doh kind of.
Yeah, come with little
cup.
eggs.
Yes, I know what you're
thing.
talking about. Yeah.
And it was like, it had this vile chemical smell. And we tasted some bourbon, and he smelled it. He's like, smells like gack, man. and I gave it to who's now my wife. At the time was my girlfriend, and I gave her some of the tastes, and she said, all right, like we had hiked, she'd hiked Katahdin a couple times, and they stayed at the same hotel, and it's like this hotel built in the 1970s, and like haven't changed anything since then. And she's like, oh man, this smells like the curtains of the Baxter Park Inn in Millinocket, Maine. I'm like, what? That is so specific. But like supposedly smell is it's most closely tied to your memories and stuff. And so people come up with the wildest things that things smell like and taste like. It's pretty cool to see, in a real whiskey tasting, like all the different things that people come up with that these things actually taste like. Because what you think smells delicious,
Someone else thinks smells bad.
Some smells bad. And
Well,
like,
let's plan a whiskey tasting with you.
Let's do it.
Because I can
do it.
definitely get some people in here to taste some stuff. So
Scotch is always fun.
no, I'll do Scotch.
We can.
I have
I'm
plenty of
down.
Scotch on the shelf, so there's no issue there.
18.
Well, we'll put that one in there somewhere. We'll end with the muffler looking scotches.
Yeah, fun
Those real good
times.
peaty ones.
I don't
Which some
like
people
a
love
peaty.
'em.
I hate a peaty Scotch. I'm sure you love it because you like the smoky.
No,
you don't like it?
Oh man, my Scotch of choice.
Yes.
Number one Scotch
Number one.
is the Glenmorangie Signet.
Oh,
It's about a $200 bottle. I got a bottle for my bachelor party like 6 years ago, and
what is the age on that?
it is not an age statement.
Okay.
However, if you read online, like they're very secretive about what it is, but they use this thing called, it's a chocolate malt, and it's a Scotch that literally has the aftertaste of cocoa beans.
Really?
It is the most delicious thing I've ever had, and
So
there's
it has
rumors
a chocolatey flavor to it.
the aftertaste only. You
Oh.
sip it, it tastes like just a really nice smooth Scotch, because rumor has it has between 35 and 40-year-old Scotches blended into it.
Really?
And it is absolutely fantastic. Comes in a super fancy case, so you can feel all important when you buy it.
For $200, I'm in.
Yeah, and
better
it's
have that.
and it is absolutely the best Scotch that I've had. And
Do they have it at the liquor store in New Hampshire or?
Keene usually has a couple bottles.
Yeah.
The first time I bought
Not
it,
anymore.
Why are you looking at me?
I had to buy it at the
Stop looking
at
at
the
me.
Seacoast last time, but
Okay.
the Keene one they do stock it usually. And
I'll look it up.
What time does the New Hampshire liquor store open up? Because I need to beat somebody if I want to get some.
And the bonus is Glenmorangie. If you don't like the smoky stuff, Glenmorangie's stuff is always a lot smoother.
Oh yeah. I like
It's
Glenmorangie.
not real smoky.
I mean, I like Macallan, but Glenmorangie as well.
But Colin, I don't drink just because I don't know. I think there's a price. I think it's a little bit of a name increase that Glenmorangie and some of the other ones don't
I don't
have.
disagree.
Balvenie doesn't
It's
have it as well.
definitely overpriced, especially if you go down to the 12. The 12, I think, is overpriced compared to. But here's the thing: you go back, I want to say 8 years.
Keene has 3 in stock.
It's so delicious.
They have none in stock now.
If you were going to buy this, you better wake up early because it's gone.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, yeah, let's wrap it up. All right, well, hey, great podcast. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
And,
thanks again to Mike. Thanks again to Sergeant Gill. Thanks again to Warren for trying his best. I appreciate it. Take the short bus home.
It's the only bus I can take, man.
We're at the Diplomat Cigar Lounge at 21 Davis Street again. Thank you for hosting us. We're here every week. Great selection.
Beautiful
bourbon
downtown Keene.
Beautiful downtown Keene, New Hampshire.
Oh, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the Pumpkin Fest. I had so many Pumpkin Fest questions. but
We'll have him on. We'll have him on
we'll
again.
have them on again.
All right.
When we get closer to October.
Yeah, closer October. We'll have him on. We'll
Do
have
it
him on
up.
in August.
I'll be around.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, my God.
And then awkward silence.
Awkward. There it is.